company announcing in their an annual earnings call that in a couple of years' time they would have 75% of their people working from home. So if this is not transformational, what else could be transformational? For those who don't know me, my name is Prakash Joshi. I'm the partner technical manager working out of the Microsoft Mumbai office. My email address is here. My team essentially covers the business application solution area and also the modern workplace solution area. And we are already seeing a lot of merger of technologies so that a customer facing application could be provided, irrespective of whether it is coming from Power Apps or from Teams. And we have had some scenarios where people have started using Power Apps embedded within Teams to make sure that the unstructured, collaborative, ad hoc work they do for driving innovation through Teams at some point of time gets captured as
तो मैं किचन में रखती हूँ, ये मेरा मोबाइल यहाँ पे ही रहने दे, कोई छुए ना.
Sorry for those who are not speaking, could you please mute yourself? It will help others. So we are seeing the unstructured work get into structured work through Power Apps, which most of you are familiar. Let's start getting into the subject matter in terms of what I would like to convey in the core note. You people are deep technical, and I don't need to really teach you technology. I can learn from you. But I'm trying to reset a couple of horizons in terms of what's happening and what we are trying to do from Microsoft and what all of us as individuals should probably look forward to in the next 6 to 9 months. First, let's go back to the basics. Our mission still remains the same: empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Whether it's a lockdown, whether it's not a lockdown, it's the same. And surprisingly, our work during the lockdown has increased manyfold. We have 3 times the meetings that would we normally have, probably because partner people are available, customers are available, and everyone wants to go back to the learning board and see what new is there to work on. And we are running this We Are Together campaign, and we would like to thank everybody to be a part of the ecosystem in this country and beyond in trying to help humanity. From the Microsoft side, we are partnering with researchers to accelerate work on a cure. So technology is coming, trying to transform society in terms of how it could work. We are supporting customers and organizations on the front line. When we say front line, these are the healthcare workers, the doctors, the nurses, the hospitals, the supply chain to these people, the not-for-profit people who are now taking a more active role in trying to help those who are affected by COVID in a non-medical manner. We are also trying to see if we can help the governments, the municipalities, etc. And we have also made it possible for people like you who will donate their time to create Power Apps and put them into a library so that others can use it. And the list of the apps in the library is growing. Maybe you can also go to the community portal and contribute something there. We are also trying to do something for a broader societal and economical impact. There have been many places people have put together embedded Power Apps, embedded Power BI portals to just help with data. A lot of data is also becoming public source so that you can use it in your applications if they are COVID related. And then we are sharing best practices around remote work, etc. So a great response from the IT community per se, and not just Microsoft. These are Microsoft examples. I'm sure that our competition partners are doing the same. There was a very interesting social media post that came in terms of, who led the digital transformation of company? Was it the CEO? Was it the CTO? Or was it COVID-19? And we have really seen that a lot of things which wouldn't move have started moving in the last 2-3 months because of an external factor like COVID that has imposed. And we are coming up with some sort of solution themes in terms of what people want immediately after the COVID in the recovery phase, or probably even to a certain extent now. And I've just taken those themes which come from the business application domain and obviously where the Power Platform stays for us. So people are trying to figure out how to help in active digital selling. So the tools and technologies are there. It was just that there was not so much focus on trying to buy something digitally, and therefore there was not that high level of focus on trying to sell something digitally. Only a few large players like Amazon, etc., were trying to do something, but now almost everyone wants to do it. How do we enable always on service? We do not want a call center. We want the agents to be where they are, probably working from home or whatever, but be available 24/7 and be available across many more channels, like let's say a WhatsApp or WeChat, not just, or maybe even Teams, the channel that we are using now. So what we are doing there, how do we build a resilient supply chain and the supply chain? And then the most important from our perspective is how do we build agile business processes? And we look at something into that. And then can we generate value with proactive insights and how we can manage financial risk and reduce fraud? So from the Microsoft business application teams across the world, these are the 6 areas where we think that our solutions based on our technology of our solution areas, the Dynamics ERP, Dynamics CRM, and the Power Platform can come and help customers. So we are having certain sort of offers which are in the market, which can be used. The idea is to allow a business or a not-for-profit or a government, which is right now in severe strain, to enable technology without having to pay for it to Microsoft in the coming times. So the first set of offers that we have on our Power Platform, you might have been aware of the Power Apps offer, but I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of the entire set of offers so that when you go to your customers, you can think in terms of low code, no code, quick turnaround solutions for their current need. This specific offer is only for 4 verticals because we also want to conserve the capacity in our data centers across the world. Different data centers in different parts of the world have different level of free capacity. And even if we were to wish to add significant capacity, right now it may not be possible given that the supply chains are disrupted, physical movement is constrained, etc. So we are limited this to just 4 verticals. So on Power Apps, you can have a max of 1,000 seats. And if there are exceptional cases which can be justified, we can provide more seats also for free for 6 months. For Power Automate, again, there are 100 seats which we provide for 3 months. For Power Virtual Agents, we provide 100 packs, that is 2 lakh sessions a month. And there are a lot of companies who would want to build this. For a government organization, we build a Power Virtual Agent literally in 3 days' time. So that's the kind of response that they could get. And I just want to make them popular so that if you have customers in these areas, you can go to these customers and help. And on the Power Portal, we are giving 50K views and 200K, that is 20,000 logins per day, which is significant for any business of your size. This will be free for 6 months. And after that, they are free to shut it down or they're free to pay for it and continue forward with it. And then you can contribute to the emergency gallery response. I will leave the slide later on with Dipesh, and you can go and have a look at it. You can look at what is there and you can try to contribute yourself in whatever fashion and thought you have. We also have offers from the Dynamics 365 customer service and Dynamics 365 remote assist. These offers have no constraints that they should be in any of these 4 verticals. They could be any business that is there who could do this. One condition on the customer service piece is that the customer service application that you set up for them has to be to respond to COVID-driven scenarios. So this could be a large organization where internal staff is displaced. Now that they're going to come out of lockdown, people want to know, do I come to office? Do I not come to office? How frequently do I come to office? Most of the offices have been designed with people sitting in not very far. Maybe the distance on the sides is far enough, but the distance face to face or back to back is not safe enough from the current safe distancing norms or social distancing norms. So we have this. Excuse me, could you mute every? So the distances may not be safe enough, and therefore there will be this kind of questions that will come, and you can set up a ticketing system using customer service, or vendors would want to know information, or customers, dealers, distributors want to know information in terms of what things are happening, and trying to do it in an unstructured fashion over Teams or over email or whatever may not be a tenable fact. So they're saying take customer service, use it free for 6 months, end of 6 months, just shut it down, or pay and get into the commercial part of it, and it's completely free. We can give some, we have an ideas guide also, which we can share. I don't have the link right now, but you can reach out to me. My email ID was there at the start of the session. We also have but the challenges that a lot of partners are facing is, oh, I can do this, but if it is going to have me require 5 people do it over a 3-4 month period, then it's 15, 16 person months or 20 person months. And then, or maybe 5 people over a month also, so 5, 10 person months, but will the customer pay me? Do I have a payment risk? So in that scenarios, we are saying take the other offer, which is the remote assist offer. Dynamics 365 remote assist, you can spin up a trial, you can look at it. There is hardly any implementation and there's hardly any learning to be given. So let's say you have scenarios where you have customers who do deep field service, and now all the specialists cannot travel everywhere. You only have a generalist person who is traveling. He can take up his Android or iPhones, start remote assist. And on the other side, we just require the expert to have Teams. There is hardly any configuration or whatever to be done. You just need to create users, provide half an hour training, or just push people to a YouTube training video, and they are done. So these kind of offers are there, and more offers will come, and these offers will change. Now, for these offers, we need to know who is the account manager, or if it's a unmanaged customer for us, we need to know who is the zonal territory channel manager from our side, from Microsoft side. And there is a small Power App we have built, and they put details of the O365 tenant which requires these solutions, and we just go forward with it. So there is a process to it. It's not that anyone can just go and on their own start this, and things are changing. We are learning from what responses customers want, and we are really going fast with it. So we provide up to 200 seats here. So it's a great way for you as a community to collaborate and provide solutions to people in need. And offers will keep changing. So reach out to me when you actually want to understand the process or understand where you're close to closing offer with a customer, so that we can go forward. We are not making any, we are not charging anything to the customers on this for 6 months. They use it free for 6 months. It is a recognition of the fact that people require support, and that's where we are providing support. So now let's change a track a bit. So pre-COVID-19, what was anyway on top of mind for business leaders? What was top of mind is digital transformation. And the last 1 year or 2 years of work on digital transformation has led a lot of people to understand that digital transformation is not solely a technology problem, the problem where all of us on this call are experts at solving. It is also a cultural shift problem. And there is a right skills shortage, and this right skills shortage can be met by the community. And we are literally seeing in the last 3 months the kind of requests that are coming to us. Earlier, the request would come that I have 5 people, can you train them upon Power Platform or Power Apps or Power BI or something like that? Or I have 25 people. Wherever we did our workshops, etc., we ended up having maybe 20, 25, 30, 35 people or 40 people after a lot of follow-up. But today, the situation has changed dramatically. People are probably at home and they have free time. But otherwise, also the requests that are coming up is, I have 500 people in my organization who do different kinds of technology. I would want them to understand the basics of the Power Platform. Can we do a few sessions? And can you give us self-learn capabilities? And post that, we do an hack. So please come on Teams calls or whatever other similar technology calls, and try to get 500 people going. And hopefully from those 500, 200 will get serious and move forward. And this is not just on the Power Platform, it is on some other technologies also. But the number of requests coming on Power Platform are very high. So all of you are at the right place at the right time. And the capabilities of the platform are also significantly increasing for serious long-term solutions to come in, and also for mid-term solutions to come in. The other thing that we are seeing from the surveys is that it's not just the technical background that people are seeing when they want to hire either partners or individuals into their own teams. They're also looking for business acumen on the backgrounds. So as you start thinking about your careers, as you start thinking about your individual businesses or your business groups or teams in large organizations, think in terms of verticals, how, not only horizontals, but for my vertical, what is it that matters? What is important to an ITES company? What is important to a retail company? What is important to a manufacturing company? What is important to a hospitality company? What is important to a healthcare company? And start building on that, because that is now considered important. And we are seeing it. We have a retail store chain across India, and in Mumbai, they have a store. And internally, they have developed 15 or 13 power apps: store opening, store closing, counter closing, many of them. So having an understanding and trying to verticalize in a business and specialize in 2, 3 business verticals would give us a lot of importance. And artificial intelligence. There are a lot of small additions happening, and AI is really getting democratized. So some attention there, not only on what is built into the AI builder, but also what you get when you get out of AI builder, and how do you bring it back into your Power Platform would be a great source. And I'm not just saying that you should focus only on the Microsoft technologies. Open source or our complete technology is also important, but you need to have this rounding, and you need to move your envelope in all directions with Power Platform as the core of it, because you come from the Power Platform background. So what are some of the lessons that we are learning as technical teams? These are lessons that we see in our teams. You could be having far more lessons, because our teams are partner facing and a little bit customer facing. You are continuously customer facing, but I thought I'll just put something on the slide which will start provoke a thought process for you to take this next 2, 3 days to introspect in terms of how you need to change your own readiness over a period of time. So in this uncertain times where the customer doesn't know exactly what is going to happen next week and the week after that and the subsequent week, how the recovery is going to pan out in different industries. Some industries will recover faster, some will not recover that fast. What is going to happen? So first, they are not looking for technology per se. You can't go and say I have Power Apps and it has, or I have a Power Virtual Agent and it has got this fantastic technical features. They're looking from their business perspectives. They're looking a complete solution in terms of what they're seeing, and that's where those sales plays that we talked of come into play. And they require them quickly. No one is now going to wait for a 6-month solution or 9-month solution. They really don't know whether their businesses in the fashion they are today will survive for the next 6 months, and what they need to change. They will survive, but they will survive in a different fashion. So they want something which would be quick in weeks' time. And I think that's where the advantage we have as the set of people who do Power Platform. This is a low code, no code, quick turnaround platform. And they require the solutions to be flexible. So we have a colleague and a partner working with Mumbai Municipal Corporation, where a Power App is given for people who go door to door to make sure that people who have been identified as high risk on COVID-19 scenario, they are there at the home, and what other indications they have. Do they have hypertension, diabetes? Because there are very specific hospitals where these kind of patients needs to go. The health care professional or the volunteer goes with a police volunteer. So who is a police volunteer? What is his number, etc. So all that coordination comes in. And when the project started, or rather, I can't even call it the project, so fast happening within days. We had one set of requirements, and as we started rolling out, every day the set of requirements is changing. And then the people are saying, okay, now I have this, and this thing will last probably for a month or so till the lockdown is there. After that, I need to morph, and some new requirement will come. And how will I change the same app with the same underlying data structures where all the information is there into something new? And that's what's like required. And that's what I say, that we need our solutions and our approaches to be flexible. And at the same time, we realize that we have an expertise, and our expertise has some boundaries in terms of our understanding of, let's say, Power Apps, Power BI, Power Virtual Agents, Power Automate, etc., and AI Builder and things like that. But it is possible that the customer wants us to integrate with an SAP, with a Oracle system, with a banking system or whatever. So how do we kind of, get expertise in other areas? One is we network. and one is we do something consciously, because they really don't care where the solution or from which cloud it comes. And everyone now is more or less sure that they need to be in public cloud, because the business continuity of these cloud infrastructures, the processes around them are much better than that of putting them on-prem. So please master a few technologies. So please master a few technologies, but try to get an understanding or basic understanding of many more, maybe from the Microsoft platform itself. So, sorry. So what we are doing is we are saying that there are a lot of certifications, business, basic level certifications, etc. Please go through them. There is also a virtual instructor-led training, and that virtual instructor-led training site is here. And if you are a Microsoft partner, these are all free for you. The past sessions are also there for you, recordings are there for you to go and have a look at it. Have a look at those so that you can expand the area of your expertise a bit. We are coming with what we call the partner readiness overdrive days, and that can help you get a grasp on the other clouds. I have put the links here. For the sales and marketing folks, it's on the 5th, and for the technical folks, it's on the 6th. So try to see if you want to leverage that. So let's move to what is really changing. And this slides I have taken from James Phillips, who is the CVP for business applications. And he tries to bring this point, which I'm trying my level best to try and get. He does a much better job of me than, but here is the story. What we are saying is, this is, let's say, a call center for an airline. I think it is a TWA call center. The photos are over the last 20 years, and today we are another 10 years ahead. So 70s, they had mainframes, they had people sitting, they had a screen, the screen got something and something got written to the mainframe database behind. In the 90s, we moved to client server architecture, and it was the same set of people, the same set of screens, probably colors rather than normal. In 2010, a decade back, we moved to a 3-tier client server architecture with a web front end, but essentially only the clothes of the people and the styles and all that change, but basically everyone is kind of doing the same thing. You're having a form, you're putting something, it is going to the backend database. So you have a, let's say, a Power App front end, and backend is a CDS. So that essentially has been the format of whatever is being developed. But now things are changing. What is happening is that from this reactive kind of scenario, that was a example of a call center. Here's an example of field service. A production down in the factory is down. Someone from the factory calls up a call center. The call gets into the call center. The service operator puts it into a case form. It gets submitted. There could be some logic, some rules which try to find the nearest person. In emergency, the person goes and meets there, and the customer disruption is resolved. So the disruption has been there. And if the implementation of the process and technologies was good in the second and third step, probably the feedback of the customer will be better. But those days are gone now. We do not want a reactive approach. With digital, the future is rapidly changing, and the future is already here. And the smart businesses are transforming proactively, and the not so smart businesses started transforming with COVID. It just raised an alarm bell all over the place. So now we have scenarios like this where there is data all over. It has been picked up by IoT, and there is an anomaly detection model, which is a AI ML driven model, and that sends off an alert, and you don't have to find someone in a hurry and do more expensive service. The person visits much before, hopefully before the anomaly hits, and the customer is never disrupted and is has to be told that, you know, this kind of stuff didn't happen, and so be happy about it kind of scenario, because it's saving money for the customer, it's saving money for the agency which is providing the service. So as we go forward, we'll see 3 path-breaking technologies that will shape our smart businesses. And mixed reality, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing happen to be those. And IoT, etc. I'm putting in the artificial intelligence bracket itself. So let's see how some of this is kind of impacting and where the Power Platform comes. So we leave quantum computing aside. It's not immediately there for us. But I just wanted to kind of take some, we have just 5 minutes left to move ahead. And what is happening because of this? As a result of this, we are saying tech intensity will increase. And as Microsoft, or rather Satya Nadella defines it, tech intensity is driven by technical adoption, and more precisely, the speed at which you can adopt a new technology coming in. And then you, as an individual business, with the partners that you work with, as not in a vendor capacity, but really in a partnership capacity, what can you make of that technology which could be proprietary to your company, in terms of the rules you encode, in terms of the dashboards you create to look at how business is moving? And can that be trusted? Can the vendor of it, like a Microsoft, or a partner of it like yourself, be trusted to do that? And I think speed of adoption, currently kind of accelerated by the COVID scenario, is what is important. And as people who do low code, no code Power Platform, that's where we get a lot more benefit from it, and we can provide that benefit. And then by staying in a 2-3 verticals, we can build and understand what is proprietary for that vertical, and then for that company, and build that. And that would be the IP that you would carry. So the AI model that you build for a customer, and the understanding that you get out of it, and the way you tweak it every 3 months or 6 months as the business scenario is changing, is what will be very important. And I think this kind of, for me, is the key slide for today, saying that as individuals of this fantastic community that we have, are we doing things which allow us to improve the speed and the acceleration of technical adoption at our customers, without really pushing them into spending something disproportionate to the returns that are getting? And how we can look at what is the secret sauce, or what is it from technology that will make an impact for our customers, or vendors, or whatever, and then give them some resilience to face shocks like the COVID situations, etc., which would be important. So we'll quickly try to wind up. We just have 2-3 minutes. If you look at mixed reality and geospatial, today we have it as a Power Apps preview. And traditionally, I said we had this forms over database. We are trying to infuse AI. We are trying to infuse mixed reality as Microsoft, and as a entirely large community of people who are on this call today. So can we start work on that? Because here we have to ideate. These solutions were not there. These capabilities are not there. So let's say someone is providing some kind of physical work. Their Power Apps today could have and become a app of engagement by having something which kind of shows the context with the camera of the phone. Can we do measurements? So a technician could use a Power App to actually take a photo, and then it starts measuring stuff. Wonderful kind of scenarios. Can we communicate better as salespeople or service people in terms of what is a physical product that we are trying to sell? And if it is a physically large product, will it stay in the context where the customer wants to keep it? Or even we can try to go it into retail scenarios, and we may not have 3D models. We could have 2D models, and before the store starts, let's say, reorganizing itself, can we physically go to that place and have a visualization of it using the mixed reality and geospatial capabilities that we have now previewed into Power Apps? So as COVID scenario comes, probably stores will also have to start relooking in terms of how their layouts, etc. are. This, I will not play this video. It's there on the link, and I'm going to leave a presentation or a PDF of it to conserve size in the same meeting post this. And that's what I'm trying to hint at, that we are very good at what we do, but probably our scope has to get a little bigger and better, and start looking in terms of which areas you will push the envelope of your creativity. I'm not playing this video. Let's move forward. I just take a minute or two. A huge amount of data is getting created, and all this data from different industries is now coming in and getting stored. And from Microsoft, we are providing, as of now, 58 data Azure regions in the world. So as countries start becoming more concerned in terms of where the data stays, hopefully the data will stay where your customer is, and you can manage that. And this is like more than anybody else. And here is a shameless plug from me from Microsoft, like stick to the Microsoft platform. We are innovating rapidly. We are taking feedback from you, and we are driving this digital transformation. And we tend to think of the projects that we do in transformation in 4 buckets: the people bucket, the product bucket, the asset bucket, and customer bucket. And our dynamic CRM products like sales, customer service, field service are the power apps that we have built as Microsoft. But that doesn't mean that you have to constrain yourself. You can build your own apps which could be better, and you can start looking at how do you drive these transformations. The importance of the Microsoft platform is all the data stays on Azure, and the Power Platform is built on Azure, and the Dynamics 365 and Office 365 platforms are built on the Power Platform, and then therefore you can see a lot more homogenization, integration, and all happening, which will give you advantages. And then you build solutions on top of that, not only leveraging the platform, but also Office 365, Dynamics 365, and put those solutions on app source, because digital is a way which is like leveling field. It doesn't matter whether that organization has 1 lakh employees or they have 5 employees. Everyone can go to app source, put their solutions, and now you can put consulting offers also on app source. So you can put your power platform consulting offers on app source. If anyone of you wants to know how that is done, just go to your Kaizala channel, put something on Kaizala, and we'll get back to you. I'll end here. I just wanted to kind of go through a scenario where 3D modeling could come into picture, but will not get there. And I'll close by again saying it's our mission to empower every person, every organization on the planet to achieve more, which also means people who are on this call. And with there, we'll stop. I'll stay along for some time for questions. If you have questions, just put the questions here and I'll try to start answering them. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Have a wonderful day. We see almost 150 people here, and hopefully you will have a great day and great time as we fight the COVID scenarios. Thank you. I'll stop sharing presentation.
Thank you, Prakash, sir, for your session and information that you shared.
Thanks, everyone.
So before Dharani starts, can we check with everybody if anybody has query over pings and you want to be answered from Prakash? Then just leave it over ping. Unmute yourself if you want, and you can ask over. We are slightly getting delayed, but that's fine. If there is any queries, maybe we will handle it for 5 minutes, and then Dharani can start his session.
Dipesh, I think people let Dharani start. We just ping the queries on the chat session, and I'll try to answer for the next some time. And if there's something left, then it's okay.
Sure. Thank you, Prakash sir, for your wonderful keynote. It was quite insightful for all of us.
I hope so. Let's continue with the next session.